We're going to move on now to the breaking news this morning. A new missile launch in North Korea just hours ago.
We are continuing to gather more information as we're on the air this morning, but North Korea seemingly speeding up its development of nuclear weapons and missiles.
Another provocative move from North Korea. The country conducting its 8th missile test this year just hours ago from a site in the western part of the country. South Korea's military is reporting the unidentified projectile flew about 310 miles, coming down in the Sea of Japan. Both South Korea and the U.S. are currently analyzing this launch for further details, but this latest move comes just 1 week after North Korea successfully launched a KN-17 missile. That feat was celebrated with a massive parade May 19th, staged to hail missile developers as national heroes.
The DPRK has claimed this type of projectile is capable of carrying a heavy nuclear warhead. US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on Sunday called the latest test disappointing and disturbing.
It is the agenda for the 21st century you're living in today. For a brave new world where everything that you cherished and held true will no longer exist.
The investigation into rape allegations against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been dropped. Swedish prosecutors saying there are no further avenues to pursue. The decision brings an end to a 7-year legal standoff and is being heralded as a total victory by Assange's defence lawyer. But the Australian is still a wanted man. Assange has been holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy in London since 2012. Skipping bail to take refuge there to avoid extradition to Sweden over the allegation, which he denies. He feared Sweden would hand him over to the United States, where he would face prosecution over WikiLeaks' publication of thousands of classified military and diplomatic documents, one of the largest information leaks in US history. With the threat of extradition removed, Assange could potentially leave the embassy. However, UK police said on Friday he will be arrested if he does, saying a warrant for the 45-year-old's arrest was issued when he failed to surrender to the court on the 29th of June 2012, and stating the Metropolitan Police Service is obliged to execute that warrant.
Gallagher is also watching this for us. He is in our West Coast newsroom as we continue to get the reports coming in here. Trace joining us now. Trace.
And Martha, just so we don't get ahead of ourselves here, it's very important to go back and kind of understand this thing happened about 10:30 at night local time there in Manchester. The Manchester Arena, for those who don't know, it's really one contiguous building with Victoria Station. You go right from the station into the arena, one of the busiest venues in the country, in fact in the world for that matter. It's kind of the equivalent of Madison Square Garden in New York. And at 10:30 tonight local time, right at the end of the Ariana Grande concert, there are reports that people heard at least one and possibly two explosions. Now, it's important to note that nobody, not a single news agency, has confirmed to us that something actually exploded.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your time. There's no need to bunch up. There's no problems here. Just take your time and keep exiting the building. There's no need to bunch up and run. Take your time. There's no problems here. Thank you for coming and having a good time tonight. Everything is fine. Just take your time exiting the building. Thank you very much. Walk slowly.
A car traveling at high speed has hit pedestrians in Times Square, New York City. At least one person has been killed and more than 20 injured. Here you can see the panic that erupted in the first moments after the incident. People trying to flee that scene, 7th Avenue, 42nd Street in Midtown Manhattan. It was around lunchtime, just before noon, so a lot of people would have been on the streets, of course, always busy with tourists as well in that area of Times Square.
The subject's vehicle struck 23 pedestrians, causing multiple injuries and one fatality. 22 victims were removed to local hospitals. The driver, a 26-year-old male, identified as Richard Rojas, a resident of the Bronx, was taken into custody at the scene. There is no indication that this incident was terrorism related.
No, I never smell alcohol in the guy. No, I don't smell alcohol in the guy. I'm telling you the truth.
How far do you get away before you're...
But from where the car to Planet Hollywood, like what, 200 feet? Then the doorman, the security guard from Planet Hollywood knocked him out. So that's why I jump in.
In May 2014, this girl, then a 7-year-old first grader, told her mother that 3 older girls had touched her private area in a bathroom stall.
What did she do while this was happening? She said, I just stood there and they told me not to tell on them.
LaToya Johnson is part of a growing grassroots movement of parents, school districts, and students confronting sex assault in K-12 schools.
They're training us to train other people, so they're looking for us to bring it to even younger kids than us.
In Massachusetts, a program initiated by the State Attorney General in partnership with the New England Patriots is training 1,000 high school student leaders at 3 dozen schools to prevent violence.
It's helping teaching kids that violence against anybody, whether it's just verbal, mentally, physical, sexual, that it's not okay to happen.
A year-long Associated Press investigation uncovered about 17,000 official reports of sexual assaults by students over a recent 4-year period. But that tally is an undercount because many states do not track or address the problem, leaving schools to struggle with protecting victims and managing the risk of offenders.
We might get a report of a student trying to touch another student in the genital area, over their clothing, in the locker room, those kinds of things.
Forest Grove School District in Oregon was looking for warning signs a student might be contemplating a campus shooting, and they stumbled upon the more pervasive threat of sexual aggression among classmates.
We were getting referrals from principals in the buildings that sexual incidents were happening in the buildings and they didn't know how to handle them.
School officials in the district now have training to separate lesser incidences from those that should cause concern. They also emphasize encouraging students to report what they see without fear of retaliation.
Ready? This is like a stop resisting, please comply. Stop resisting, please comply. Stop resisting, please comply. Stop resisting. Feels like a volcano shit in my eye.
Dawn breaks over Colombia, Venezuela and the Simón Bolívar border bridge that connects the two. It's filled with an ever-increasing torrent of people as the Venezuelan crisis deepens. That's turned the bridge into a unique ecosystem in which travellers and hustlers scramble to survive.
The relentless, hysterical, 6-month-long media campaign to delegitimize Trump was firmly based around setting the narrative that he's an illegitimate dictator. They're radicalizing the violent alt-left. We've seen the attacks on Trump supporters. We've seen the crazies trying to scale the White House fence over and over again. This summer, the situation could explode. The drive to impeach Donald Trump will lead to either war abroad or war on the streets of America. Sources close to the White House indicate to us that sleeper cells within the administration, turncoats, will be the leading voices in the push to impeach Donald Trump. The same traitors responsible for the leaks, in alliance with never-Trump Republicans, are feverishly working with the Democratic Party establishment to sabotage Trump, and thanks to the media. Bought and paid for by the deep state, the propaganda is working.
But clearly we're on the trail there to an impeachment.
Are we getting closer and closer to the possibility of yet another impeachment process?
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
Are well on our way to impeachment.
Odds of Trump being impeached by the end of 2017 have shot up past 30%. 48% of Americans want to see it happen, and that's because the media has engaged in blitzkrieg-like onslaughts of deception. We're told this Comey memo is, quote, deeply troubling. So troubling that Comey sat on it for 3 months. So troubling that he kept it quiet for all that time and only released it days after he was fired. What a coincidence! Even CNN admits that this is part of the deep state's revenge against Trump.
We know that this is, they talk about the deep state. Well, these are communities that have a lot of loyalty within and know how to get back, even if you're the president of the United States.
Trump tells Russia how to protect innocent people from being blown up on a plane by ISIS, and he's the monster for trying to save lives. Not a single shred of evidence has ever been presented to prove Trump colluded with Russia to influence the election. But that doesn't matter to these people. The end justifies the means. And the end game is the elimination of Trump at whatever cost to the country. Isn't it rich how they still grandstand like they've got the moral high ground? Keith Olbermann begging foreign countries to launch a coup d'etat. You're literally trying to incite the overthrow of a democratically elected president. You don't have the moral high ground. These people are perfectly willing to see the country fail if it means they can claim they were proven right about Trump. They're quite happy to see the plane go down even though they're on it, just to soothe their butthurt about losing the election. Difference is, they've got parachutes. The middle and working class Americans who voted for Trump don't. And they're the ones who are going to suffer. You'll see massive riots in major American cities this summer. And I'm not talking about protests that boil over. I'm talking full-blown LA-style riots. Deaths and destruction of property. It may be triggered by something unrelated to Trump, but the frenzy will all feed into this collapse narrative. That's where it's heading, and that's where they want it to go. The collapse of the Trump presidency, if it cannot be stopped, will make the collapse of Venezuela looked like a walk in the park.
Michael Richard Prince.
Thank you all. Father Jenkins, Board of Trustees, distinguished members of the faculty, my fellow honorees, guests, grandparents, parents, family and friends gathered here, all who've come from near and far to share a special moment. And congratulations to a generation of promise, the University of Notre Dame class of 2017. We are proud of you all.
Terrorists do not worship God. They worship death. If we do not act against this organized terror, then we know what will happen and what will be the end result. Terrorism's devastation of life will continue to spread. Peaceful societies will become engulfed by violence, and the futures of many generations will be sadly squandered. If we do not stand in uniform condemnation of this killing, then not only will we be judged by our people, not only will we be judged by history, but we will be judged by God. This is not a battle between different faiths, different sects, or different civilizations. This is a battle between barbaric criminals who seek to obliterate human life and decent people, all in the name of religion. People that want to protect life and want to protect their religion. This is a battle between good and evil. When we see the scenes of destruction in the wake of terror, we see no signs that those murdered were Jewish or Christian, Shia or Sunni. When we look upon the strains of innocent blood soaked into the ancient ground, we cannot see the faith or sect or tribe of the victims. We see only that they were children of God whose deaths are an insult to all that is holy.
I am very pleased to be here today at the announcement of this year's Star Bus. I am aware there is a good deal of speculation in the media at the moment regarding my prediction of our time left on this Earth. I strongly believe we should start seeking alternative planets for possible habitation. We are running out of space on Earth, and we need to break through the technological limitations, preventing us living elsewhere in the universe. I am not alone in this view, and many of my colleagues will make further comments on this at Starbus next month.
Operation Icebridge is a 6-year NASA mission that monitors the Earth's polar ice in the Arctic and Antarctic. It's the largest airborne survey of Earth's polar ice ever flown.
Now, it monitors changes from a fixed-wing aircraft because the satellite that previously gathered information malfunctioned.
Tonight, something pretty fishy happened this week at Stanford Avenue Elementary School in Oroville. A typical Tuesday took a turn for the weird just before noon when the campus was suddenly covered in dead fish. They were everywhere, all over the playground and drinking fountains, and as one custodian discovered, even on top of the roof. School officials aren't sure if there was some kind of prank or if it really rained fish.
The World Health Organization has declared a dengue fever epidemic in Piura, a city in the northwest of Peru, after the death toll there climbed to 19. Authorities say 3,150 cases have been confirmed across the country so far, and there are thousands more suspected cases. In the city alone, 300 possible new dengue infections are being reported daily. Heavy rains on the north coast and flash flooding have left puddles of stagnant water along streets and housing areas, creating a perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes which spread the virus.
Oh my goodness me. Oh, look, give it down! Hideous. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna die.
Wednesday and Thursday, some Colorado helping of severe storms. Snow on Thursday, lightning earlier in the week may see power Sierras.
Oh, there it is, funnel cloud. Beautiful funnel cloud. Still a ways away. Let's get on in there. Man, I'd love to be 5 miles up ahead right now.
The deadly tornado outbreak in the heartland. New alerts have been posted at this hour. Another difficult night ahead. And a state of emergency now declared in Wisconsin. More than 24 tornadoes reported, one tornado damaging homes in Barton County, Kansas. And these pictures coming into us tonight just stunning out of Wisconsin.
Tonight, a dangerous system on the move.
Tornado completely all the way on the ground.
The tornado outbreak beginning in Texas Tuesday afternoon. Twisters reported in 6 states. Our Clayton Sandell is in hard-hit Elk City, Oklahoma.
The twister slammed into this neighborhood right around dinner time. At least 100 homes here severely damaged or destroyed. One person was killed, but officials say early warnings helped save many lives.
Driving dangerous too. This pickup hydroplaning on I-40 north of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Another twister making a direct hit.
The trailer court looks like it might have been leveled.
1 killed and dozens injured. First responders hearing their cries for help.
They were pulling walls off of people and getting them out of their trailers.
Darla Rutledge was standing in her home when the walls collapsed on her.
Didn't have a chance to do nothing.
And David, hard to believe, but there were 10 homes on this block. This is all that's left. This area now bracing for another round of storms tonight.
major gas leak.
Shows, man. Just come out there, boss. Watch out. Watch out, bump up there.
But look on the side over there, sir.